Some memories don't come back with faces. They come back with silence. Not the loud kind, but the quiet kind that sits beside you when the house is finally still. You don't invite them. They arrive on their own. Often when you're no longer busy running. This is not a story about war. Not really. It's a story about what remains after the years stop asking anything from you. He thought he had left it all behind. For a long time, he believed he had left those years behind. He built a life, a job, a family. He learned how to move forward, and for decades, he did. But life has a strange way of slowing us down when it senses we are ready to listen. Retirement did that. The days became quieter, the mornings longer, the evenings stretched wide, and in that space something familiar began to stir. Not memories, feelings. It wasn't memories at first, it was a feeling, a weight, a warmth, a tiredness that didn't come from the body. He would sit by the window, a cup of coffee growing cold in his hands, watching nothing in particular. And yet, everything. The sound of wind through trees felt heavier than it should. A passing siren lingered longer than before. He didn't think of names. He didn't see faces. But something inside him recognized the moment. The years we don't talk about. There are years in a life we don't talk about. Not because we're ashamed, but because words never learned how to hold them. Those years shape the way we sit in silence, the way we listen, the way we notice who leaves a room without saying goodbye. He carried those years quietly, responsibly, like a man who knew how to endure. But endurance is not the same as release. When the body rests, the mind returns. When the body finally rests, the mind begins to wander. He remembered small things, not the battles, not the fear, but the pauses in between. A shared cigarette that lasted longer than it should have. A joke told softly, so no one else would hear. The sound of boots being unlaced at the end of a long day. Moments that didn't seem important then, but somehow stayed. He didn't miss the war. He didn't miss the war. He missed the clarity, the simplicity of knowing who you were responsible for, and who was responsible for you. Later in life, responsibility becomes quieter, less obvious. You are needed less urgently, asked fewer questions. And when no one needs you loudly anymore, you begin to meet yourself again. A reunion with himself. This was his reunion. Not with a place, not with another man, but with the person he once was, before life became complicated by years. The young man who learned how to be still in the middle of chaos. The man who learned that silence could be a shelter. He realized something gently. He had survived. Not just the war, but the years after it. Peace is not loud. Peace, he learned, is not loud. It doesn't arrive with applause or answers. It arrives quietly when you finally stop running from yourself. When you allow memories to sit beside you without asking them to leave. When you understand that remembering is not the same as returning. The city outside the window. Outside the window, the world continued. Cars passed, leaves fell, someone laughed in the distance, and inside, nothing needed to happen. For the first time in a long while, That was enough. Closing. Some memories don't come back to haunt us. They come back to remind us that we are still here. And if this moment feels familiar, I'm here, listening. You're not alone.